That's 800-312-9970.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-785-9132. That's 800-785-9132. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-785-9132.
WIKG, Mercersburg, Chambersburg, Greencastle, 92.1 The Goat, the Tri-State's home for sports and news.
Tristate with Tiny and Katie, all powered by HomeRight Windows and Doors. The right choice winner in the 2024 Best of the Tri-State. Now, I changed before we came on the air, but
Like I was in a house of horrors. Oh, goodness.
I was wondering where you were going with this.
Oh, forgive me. I'm sorry.
Today is Spirit Day. All week it's been Spirit Week at work. So yesterday it was just wear a fun t-shirt. Mm-hmm. So I wore one that had a peppermint patty and it said Mint to Achieve. Tiny did not participate, of course. Today is Dress Like Food Day. Tiny did not participate. I changed.
Oh, excuse me. I'm a snack. You know.
So let me tell you what I wore. I mean, you already saw it, but I was at the dollar store and I found these candies that had little eyes on them.
Yeah.
So I glued them to a black shirt and I was eye candy.
I saw it.
And then on the bottom half, I took Smarties and glued them to a pair of leggings and Smartie pants. Mm-hmm. And so eye candy and Smartie pants. I feel like I hit everybody with a double whammy today.
I hate Smarties.
Nobody likes them.
Reagan loves them.
Ooh.
She loves Smarties.
It was so weird. I had to go to 3 different Dollar Trees or Dollar Generals to find them. And
Why didn't you tell me? A ton of them.
I wish I would have. Because I kept thinking there's no way people are buying these things. Who likes them?
We, about a week or so ago, we were at Walmart and Mary said, we should probably go ahead and get the Halloween candy. Okay, fine. So I don't know why they can't just, I guess I know why they do it. They get you to buy more. But why can't they just make a perfect bag of mixed candy?
They do.
No, they don't. That's just, there's always, if you ever take notice, there's always something there's always a piece of candy in the bags that's horrible.
According to whom?
Well, my personal taste.
So Whoppers and the chocolate.
I can almost get on board with Whoppers. But when you throw in, like, Mounds or Almond Joy.
Those are great.
Yeah, not so much for me.
See, this is what I mean. It just depends on who your audience is.
Well, anyway, so I got 2 big bags, and they were a good mix. It was like Twix and Hershey's, and so it was good, respectable. And by the way, if it doesn't have Reese's Cups in it, it ain't worth anything. Anyway, so Mary, I guess, thought that one of the bags had less in it than it did. Mm-hmm. So she decided she was going to get they have the cheaper bags, like $5 a piece. She was going to get a supplemental bag of candy. And she said, here, we'll get these and we'll, kind of even it out. And I didn't know what she grabbed until she put it in the cart. And it was a bag of just Smarties. Ugh. And I said, what are you doing? She said, well, we need to fill out I said, hun, this is going to make us that house.
Yeah, you don't go to that one.
Yeah, you don't want to, it's like, the full candy bar house that everybody wants. Yeah. You got to go to that house. We be the opposite. You don't want to go to that house.
Yeah, they give you Smarties. Yeah.
They give you flavored chalk.
I never have liked Smarties.
No.
The only good I found from them is when I was a teacher, and they were a good play on words, like your little Smarty pants,
Right,
you know, before a test. That was kind of the only purpose they served me.
The closest I ever got to enjoying them, and it may have been Smarties brand, I don't know, but the candy necklaces.
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid,
I
I
don't
would
think
have
those are Smarties.
have those, but it's the same, basically the same thing.
Those are not bad. Those candy necklaces, those are a lot better in my opinion. But
They're nice if you're running I would assume a marathon. You need some sugar or something to.
yeah, it's been a while since I ran a marathon.
I'm not
so.
speaking from experience. I'm just kind of putting that out there.
Haven't done that anytime soon. Let's check in with this weather. Sunshine today, beautiful. High right around 70. High is going to be between 68 and 70. Cloudy skies tonight, low 46. And tomorrow, oh my goodness, Halloween Eve, sunny, high 77. Halloween, we're going to be in the 80s. I just feel sorry for some of the kids who are going to be sweating in their costumes.
Well, I wonder what temperature it's going to be come 6 o'clock for trick or treat.
I mean, probably still in the 70s.
I would imagine it's still going to be warmer than it has been the past couple of years, but still, even if we get up into the 80s, any day really moving forward, we're still at the point where once the sun goes down, it does cool off pretty nicely.
Yeah, it's still, my goodness, it's so warm. Today we celebrate National Cat Day. Shout out to Winnie, the National Today Data.
Is she watching?
Yeah. Hey, Winnie. Today's your day. The National Today Data Science Team, which is just a team of people that did a survey of 1,000 people about cats, found that 44%, about 4 in 10 people surveyed, own at least one cat. Almost 60% of cat owners have just one. 46%, just under half of the people surveyed, responded that they tell their cats, "I love you." I was really shocked at that.
How many was it?
46% of people who have cats say.
I thought it'd be more.
I thought it'd be 100%. Who doesn't tell their pet that they love them? When I leave, now, mind you, it's just me and my cat, so I really rely on her for a lot of communication.
Companionship.
Yeah, a lot of this.
Communication?
Well, we do. I communicate with her a lot. But
Does she tell you her problems?
When I leave, it's always a very long, drawn out, who is my good girl? Who is the prettiest girl? Who is my favorite kitty in the whole world? I love you so much. Oh, you're so good. You're such a good girl.
You do that to me.
I know.
But I can imagine Winnie's probably like, yes, come on.
She's done
Go.
No, she loves to play. Like, she gets the zoomies right before I leave, which kills me because I love to play with her, but not when I'm walking out the door.
Well, you realize she's getting the zoomies because you're leaving.
Maybe.
Like, yes, party!
But her new thing is when she sees me going to the door and I go outside and I start closing the door, she like pounces on the door and puts her little paw in the door, and she very slowly will move it back, and then obviously that's when I shut the door so I don't get her paw in there, but it's really cute.
You know, when you walk out, she's walking into the house, Toga!
I mean, listen, what she does in her own time is her business.
It's her house too.
That's right. A quarter of people surveyed stated that their cat is their best friend. She's up there.
Did they interview you?
No, because I have an obsession with my cat. I mean, she really is special. She really is special. Not only is she an emotional support animal, but she loves kids, which is really unique for a cat. She loves kids. She loves strangers. She's just really special. But if you're not a big cat person, it's also National Oatmeal Day. That might do something for you.
You know, it's funny you'd say that. Coincidentally, maybe, and this may be why, although there was no signage, was at Aldi yesterday. No, I'm sorry. I was at Aldi on Sunday. And in their frozen section, I love how Aldi's always has something new, right?
And it's hit or miss sometimes.
It is. Yes, it is. This, I think, would be a big-time hit if I ate oatmeal. Now, I don't refrain from oatmeal because I don't enjoy it. I like oatmeal, but it's just so loaded with carbs, I just can't justify it. But anyway, they had oatmeal balls, but you would bake them, and it almost looked like it was kind of a... No, they were round, and it was like almost a gooey type set. I mean, they looked really good, and I bet...
Sounds like a protein ball or something like that.
You probably could look at it that way, yeah, but I would love to try them.
Well, I was reading up about oatmeal because it is National Oatmeal Day.
Okay.
It is one of the healthiest grains on earth. They are gluten-free, rich in antioxidants. They help you apparently to lose weight, lower your blood sugar, and reduce risks of heart disease.
I do love me some oatmeal.
I do like oatmeal, raw oats with a little bit of milk, but then I love to pour the brown sugar in. And then bananas.
Well, you know what you have to do is use
that.
use Swerve brown sugar.
What's that?
It's brown sugar with no calories, no nothing. It's really good.
Swerve?
Mm-hmm. Swerve's the brand.
Well, maybe.
I'll bring you some.
Wait, yeah, I was just going to say, bring me in some. Back on this day, what is today? The 29th of October. There's actually a significant amount of things that have happened.
Are we doing trivia or no?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
This happened 95 years ago today in 1929, which came to be known as Black Tuesday.
The stock market crash.
Yep, and it triggered the Great Depression, which lasted nearly 10 years. Right. That was back in 1929. 79 years ago, I don't think you'll know this one. This was first sold in Gimbel's department stores. Gimbel, am I saying that correctly?
Oh yeah, that's the name of a department store.
For $12.50 for one. You would probably find one of these now for about $2 or $3.
Oh my goodness, I don't know.
You love a good one of these.
I don't know. Gimbel's department store for $12.50 back. Oh, a pen.
Ballpoint pen. I know how much you love a good pen.
I do.
It was 64 years ago in 1960 that this person boxed in his first professional fight.
Ali?
No, I don't know these people. Cassius Clay?
That's Ali, Muhammad Ali.
Oh. He beat Tunney Hunsaker?
Sure.
To win a 6-round decision?
Okay.
Does that sound, am I making up words here? Or does that all sound good?
Not yet. Great.
For someone who loves boxing, I thought you'd be all over that.
Who says I love boxing?
Or wrestling.
Well, that's not boxing.
What is this sport?
That's boxing.
Okay, you don't love boxing.
I do not.
You love wrestling.
I do.
Aren't they kind of under the same umbrella?
They happen in a ring, sure.
Right, so kind of the same thing.
Okay.
It was 53 years ago, I'm just going to hit you with this one, in 1971, that Dwayne Allman from the Allman Brothers died in a motorcycle accident in his hometown of Macon, Georgia, at the age of 24. But what's crazy is, a year later, the band also lost their bassist, Barry Oakley, in another motorcycle accident 3 blocks from where Dwayne Allman was killed.
Wow.
I did
not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. 31 years ago in 1993, Tim Burton's movie was released called
Beetlejuice, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. Beetlejuice was the 80s. Yeah.
When that came out, I was like 7 or 8 when it came out, and it scared me.
I hate it.
Oh, I love it.
I can never
yeah, Jack Skelly.
From the beginning to now, I don't like it.
Oh, I love it. But it scared me when I was a kid.
I feel like Tim Burton is a bit of an acquired taste.
I think you love or you don't.
Yeah. No, I like Beetlejuice. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I've always liked Beetlejuice.
Edwards, is that Tim
Sister
Burton?
Hands is Tim Burton. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't really see the big deal, but whatever.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, but
Sweeney Todd, I think that was Tim Burton.
Was it?
I think so.
Oh, interesting.
I kind of see anything with Johnny Depp and think,
he had that really weird one. Was it called 9? Or I think it was called just the number 9. I had no idea what it was about. I just remember that here at the radio station back when it came out, the movie production company sent us a case of movie memorabilia for this thing. Books and hats, and it was just awful. The whole place was just nined out. I still have no idea what the movie was
Decked
about.
out to the nines.
Right.
It was 12 years ago that, in 2012, Hurricane Sandy devastated the East Coast, causing almost $70 billion in damages and killing at least 147 people. 12 years ago.
Yeah, we didn't have a place there yet, but that really hit Ocean City harder than pretty much any hurricane had. And the building where we now own our condo tore the roof off of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember at that time one of my very good friends was getting married, and she lived in Staten Island. And I just remember they didn't have to change any of their wedding plans, but it was...
Oh, it was awful.
It was very top of mind for me because her family was... Obviously, we were very close at that time. I was one of her bridesmaids, and just that was really, really devastating. So today we have a great show lined up for you. We are going to be talking with So Fresh Spa, Carry Your Cross Incorporated, Laura Ara Incorporated. And right now I think it's time to hear the good word of the day, and it's all powered by Veritas Men's Health in Hagerstown. Telehealth available, and you can find them online at veritasmenshealth.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tim Beitzel from First Assembly of God in Shippensburg, PA. By the way, you can check us out on the web at www.agshp.org. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about Jesus' words actually an introduction to Jesus' words in Matthew chapter 5. If you're following Jesus and you read your Bible, you will recognize Matthew 5 as containing the Beatitudes, and the further passage in the next few chapters is what we call the Sermon on the Mount. And a lot of the things that Jesus has to say in these passages seems very, very hard for us to understand. But I want to draw your attention to something in the opening verses of Matthew chapter 5, reading today from the New Living Translation, verses 1 and 2. Listen. One day, as he saw the crowds gathering, Jesus went up on the mountainside and sat down. His disciples gathered around him, and he began to teach them. What struck me this morning as I was looking at that is this. Those whom he was teaching were those who were following him. If you're following Jesus, we have to be willing to be taught by him. Jesus, fully God and fully man, because he was fully human, needed to get away from the hustle and bustle of the crowd, the people that were following after him for what they could get from him. So Jesus pulled away from the crowd, gathered his closest disciples around him, and began to teach. Listen, if you're following Jesus, we need to spend time at his feet. We need to spend time letting him teach us. Even if the things that he is teaching us seem difficult to handle, here's one thing you have to remember. Jesus' teaching are for our benefit. God is not out to cramp your style. He's out to give you a better life, a life that is full and abundant. Thank you for joining me again today. Remember that as you sit at the feet of Jesus, be willing to let him teach you, even if those truths can be hard at times. God bless you. See you next time.
Get ready for a night of singing and dancing if you want to. There's a big concert coming to Waynesboro. They are going to be hosting the Forever Simon and Garfunkel tribute on Sunday, November 10th at 3 p.m. in the Oyer Auditorium of Waynesboro Area Senior High School. Acclaimed singer-songwriters Sean Altman and Jack Sculler will perform iconic hits like The Sound of Silence and Bridge Over Troubled Water. Do you want me to sing a little bit of it?
But the question I have is, and I'm genuinely asking this because the only Simon and Garfunkel song I know is like A Bridge Over Troubled Water. Is it really dancing music?
I think you can dance to whatever music feels good.
Sure. I mean, if the spirit moves you, you can dance.
Who am I to say what makes your hips shake or mine, you know?
I got to be honest with you. Every time I hear like a bridge over, I'm like...
You're busting out the robot and
Actually, probably be more like
the sway. Just a nice, easy sway.
I know one of the Temptations.
Right. Well, I never know what makes somebody get to their feet and, dance the night away.
I wouldn't stand up for it.
Well, tickets are $25 for adults, free admission for K-12 students accompanied by an adult. This concert also honors military personnel and their families as part of the Waynesboro Community Concert Association's ongoing commitment to local communities. And again, that is on Sunday, November 10th, which really is not that far away. What is that, like 2 weeks away from now? Not even? Oh, my goodness.
It seems like once Halloween's over, it's just full bore into the holidays. Before you know it, Thanksgiving is here, and then this time of year
flies.
Does go so fast.
And it's a shame that it does because this is the best time of year. The weather is great. You're making all these memories with the family. There's so many community events. And
my favorite thing is the season. I love the holiday season.
Well, everybody's happy and cheerful and in a good mood and giving and blessed and feeling grateful.
The thing is, though, the reason that don't get me wrong, I love the day. Christmas Day is fine, but it's the day is kind of depressing because you're like, well, it's here.
And now it's
all
over.
This build up is here, and then before you know it, it's like going to bed for the night, and Christmas is over for another year.
And I used to always say when I was a teacher that how did I word this? I used to always say Januaries are like the Monday of months.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's that the whole month of January just drags and drags, and the weather gets cold, and then we have snow.
But my birthday is in January.
Your birthday, my niece, my brother, there's a lot of great birthdays.
Well, let's not muddy the waters with everyone else. Just not me.
Right, selfish. What's going on with you, buddy?
So let's drop down to Hagerstown for this story. The Maryland Attorney General's office is investigating a police-involved in-custody death involving a man in Hagerstown that police took into custody on Saturday night, according to the Attorney General's office. Hagerstown police had taken the man outside a downtown Hagerstown home where a search warrant was being executed into custody, put him in the back of the police cruiser, the release states. I can't imagine being the police officers and coming upon this guy. All you did was put him in the back seat, and then next thing you know, he's gone.
Yeah.
Essentially.
How does that happen?
I'm not quite, well, they are investigating. So a quote is, while in the back seat of the police cruiser, the man vomited, had difficulty breathing, and became unresponsive. Officers immediately rendered medical aid. The man was transported to an area hospital where he was pronounced dead. The release states the AG's Independent Investigations Division is investigating the in-custody death.
Wow, you'll have to keep everybody updated with that information.
Their names weren't released, but I'm sure those officers feel horrible about that. I'm not even saying they did anything wrong, but you just would feel so bad.
Absolutely. If it happens in your presence, whether it's just, that's pretty terrible. Let's go ahead and take a look at sports with Andy.
Here's your scores from last night in Washington County, starting with flag football. On Monday, Clear Spring battled Williamsport, came out the winner 12-0. Tonight, Smithsburg will take on Boonesboro at 5 p.m. in Boonesboro. Tonight for boys soccer in Washington County, the Maryland 3A West Region 1 final between Tuscarora and North Hagerstown kicks off at 7 p.m. in North Hagerstown. The Maryland 1A West Region 2 final between Boonesboro and Brunswick will kick off at 7 p.m. in Brunswick. Also tonight for soccer playoff action for girls soccer in Washington County, the Maryland 1A West Region 2 final between Smithsburg and Brunswick will kick off at 5 o'clock in Brunswick. And in volleyball last night for Washington County, the CMC Large School and the CMC Small School Championships took place. The Large School Championship took place between North Hagerstown and Frederick at Tuscarora. North Hagerstown won 3-0 by scores of 25-18, 25-11, and 25-17. For the CMC Small School Championship taking place at Williamsport, Williamsport beat Smithsburg 3-0. Williamsport won by scores of 30-28, 25-16, and 25-20 in all three matches. Tonight, South Hagerstown will take on Catoctin at Catoctin. That match starts at 7 p.m. The two-time defending Class 3A state champion North Hagerstown and 16-time state champion Williamsport earned region number 1 seeds as the MPSSAA announced the volleyball playoff brackets yesterday afternoon. The Hubs are 13-1, and they have won 5 Class 3A state titles since 2011. They're the top seed in the 3A West Region 1. They'll host a region semifinal on Friday at 6 p.m. against the winner of Wednesday's quarterfinal between number 4 Tuscarora and number 5 Oakdale. South Hagerstown, with a record of 3-10, is the number 7 seed in the 3A West Region 1 and will travel to face number 2 Linganore on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Williamsport, standing at 9-5, is the top seed and defending champion in 2A West Region 1 and the only team with a winning record in the region. The Wildcats will host a region semifinal on Saturday against the winner of Wednesday's quarterfinal between number 4 Winners Mill and number 5 Walkersville. Two-time defending Class 1A state champion Clear Spring, standing at 10-5, is the number 4 seed in 1A West Region 1 after winning a coin flip with Mountain Ridge. The Blazers will host the Miners on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Hancock, standing at 11-4, is the number 3 seed in the 1A West Region 1 and will host number 6 Southern Garrett on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Smithsburg, with a record of 11-3, is the number 2 seed in the 1A West Region 2 and has a quarterfinal bye. Boonesboro, also 11-3, is the number 3 seed, and they'll host number 6 Brunswick in a quarterfinal Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., with the winner traveling to face Smithsburg in the semifinals Saturday at 11 a.m. The top seed in the 1A West Region 2 is undefeated South Carroll, which beat Smithsburg in 4 sets earlier this season.
If you'd like to be featured on the Coach's Corner with Andy, email coach at 921thegoat.com.
The JR Sport Brief on the Infinity Sports Network.
Am I going to favor them to win the championship this year? The answer is no. That'll be the greatest miracle because this is the New York Jets. And unfortunately, what's most likely is that one day Aaron Rodgers packs his bags and says, I want to leave. The New York Jets don't have a coach, and the New York Jets are going to have to start from scratch and suck for many more years because another Green Bay Packers experiment quarterback screwed them. This is JR of the JR Sport Brief on 92.1 The GOAT.
Sunday, November 3rd, Cedar Ridge Children's Home and School in Williamsport, Maryland is hosting their 12th annual fundraiser quarter auction. Admission $5 per person. Doors open at 1 p.m. The auction begins at 2. Items to be auctioned include gift certificates for goods and services, gift cards for local businesses, curated gift baskets, and much more. No pre-sales. Details on Facebook or online at cedarridgeministries.org.
Wholesale Pallet Pushers is 6,500 feet of deals. Buy pallets, bins, mystery boxes, boxes and save big. Electronics, clothing, home goods, power tools, home improvement, and construction items, and more. Pay half of what you would normally pay. Wholesale Pallet Pushers resells liquidated goods from major retailers at a fraction of the original prices. You'll always find a great buy. Wholesale Pallet Pushers, 231 East Oak Ridge Drive, across from the Meadows in Hagerstown. Find them on Facebook. Wholesale Pallet Pushers, your go-to hub for quality, diversified pallet loads.
Walk into SA Tactical and Outdoors with your old gun and walk out with something you've been dreaming of. SA Tactical buys all types of used firearms, more than most places, and they offer fair market value. With every purchase of a firearm, you'll also receive 10% off all accessories. Take advantage of this opportunity to upgrade your firearms. SA Tactical and Outdoors, 43 West King Street, Shippensburg. Online at satacticaloutdoors.com. SA Tactical. Get armed.
Are you currently medically uninsured? Uninsured citizens are healthier and more productive through free access to health care. Are you currently a citizen of Washington County, Maryland?
Hi, I'm Nicole, Executive Director of the Community Free Clinic. We can help those in need of physical or mental health care, including prescription medicine and lab services. Services are not based on income. Most services are free to qualifying patients. Are you currently medically uninsured? If you need physical or mental health care, learn if you qualify at mycommunityfreeclinic.org.
Shelters are full across the country, and the Humane Society of Washington County is no exception. Hundreds of animals are in care between the shelter and foster homes. They need your help. Please consider adopting a pet or volunteer. Help walk dogs, wash and fold laundry, distribute food from the pet food bank. Have a garage, warehouse, barn, or other suitable shelter? Adopt a working cat. You can save a life. Adopt a pet from the Humane Society of Washington County, and remember to have your pets spayed or neutered. Learn more ways to help at hswcmd.org.
I'm with Skip Jennings from Jennings Chevrolet Buick GMC in Chambersburg. Skip, all we hear about on the news is how prices are going up on just about everything. What's your take?
Ben, there's no question that we've seen unprecedented inflation, but in my almost 40 years in the new car business, I've never seen a time where we have so many affordable new vehicles.
That seems impossible. Give me some examples.
Ben, we have new Colorado pickup trucks starting at under 31 grand, new Equinoxes starting at under 27 grand, and the all-new Chevrolet Trax starting at under 21 grand.
Those prices are hard to believe. What about Buick prices?
We have Envisions for under $34,000, Envistas for under $28,000, and Encore GXs for under $22,000.
Those are crazy low prices in today's world. How about financing rates?
We have 5.9% for 84 months on all new HD Silverados and Sierras.
That sure helps to make the payments affordable on those heavy-duty trucks.
Great prices, great financing options, and great selection make October the month to buy a new vehicle. Stop in today at Jennings Chevrolet Buick GMC. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Maggie and Perloff.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Tri-State, powered by Home Right
Sports
Windows and Doors, the right
I feel
choice.
the same way that I felt yesterday.
I
feel like
we have
this
a great
was
show
a game
lined
that
up
the
today. Our
Cowboys
first guest today, we have Lori Feaser, who is the owner of So Fresh Spa. Lori, thank you for being here with us today. And you are right in downtown Greencastle.
This was good for them to get
we were
away
just
with a
talking
win.
a second ago.
And I still have them not making the playoffs.
Love it. So now that we've established a friendship, I might be popping in a little bit more.
Now, by friendship, Katie means you'll give her service.
That's exactly right.
Definition of a friendship.
Entertainment, you give me a facial. So let's start off and just talk about the spa and the services that you offer.
For sure. So Fresh Spa is pretty much an all-natural. We really focus on more natural ingredients in our facial rooms and our massages. Because as an esthetician of almost 20 years, I really do believe that I've seen a big difference in more natural products and how the body receives it versus more like synthetic products or ingredients.
And so you've been a licensed esthetician, you said, for 20 years now?
Almost 20 years.
And you offer different types of facials.
Yes.
And I think that, I don't know, Tiny, if you've ever had a facial before. I do encourage men to get them.
Yes.
I'm not against it.
Yeah.
But there are different types and different levels,
yes,
right?
100%.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of times if someone's coming in for the first time, I definitely would recommend just like a classic facial. So, that way our estheticians or myself can kind of get used to how your skin responded to it. to certain products, and then get you on a skincare regimen for at-home use, so that when you do come back and get deeper treatments like microcurrent or ProCells or hydrodermabrasion, that your skin is healthy enough to receive them. Because I found that like when you just jump the gun and say, oh, I want the hydrodermabrasion facial, but your skin wasn't ready for it, then it ends up being like, it's worse on the skin.
What do you mean by that exactly? Like your skin's not ready for it?
So a lot of times, like the skin will be, most women don't realize what healthy skin should feel like. So they go throughout their lives by like, if they're not taking care of their skin, they're dry, dehydrated, and when the skin becomes dry and dehydrated, then it becomes more sensitive. So it's like, I have so many people that are like, oh my gosh, my skin is sensitive, but then once I get them in the treatment room and I realize, well, you haven't been on a skincare regimen, you haven't been doing anything for your skin, so your skin is so sensitive that anything that you put on the skin, it's going to flare up.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, until I educate them about the skin, their skin, whatever, then it kind of like makes sense.
Now, as I'm getting older,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to lie to you, when I was younger, skincare wasn't top of mind for me.
Yes.
And, hindsight, I wish I would have put on more sunscreen and,
Yes.
and maybe learned a little bit more about my skin type. But as I'm getting older, obviously I'm starting to notice I have one age spot. I noticed it the other day. I have like more wrinkles that are forming. So
Yes.
I might not be educated to know what exactly I should use for my skin. Is that something that you could help me to figure out, or anybody to figure out?
So here's something that I've realized. So there is like professional products, right, which is products that you can get at spas. Estheticians can only sell them. And then there's your medical grade products, which dermatologists or plastic surgeons, like doctors, will sell those because they're higher concentration ingredients, right? So, and that's something else too, is that I feel like there needs to be a bridge between us two, between estheticians and doctors, and that way professional and medical grade products, because like you have to work yourself up to that. So you have a dark spot, right, that didn't get there overnight.
Did you see
right?
it? Did you see it?
Hyperpigmentation. It's very
You can
small.
see
I
it,
can see. No, girl, I've got freckles all over my face. That just genetically, like that's in my family. But it also sun damage because again, I'm 46, so it's like I wasn't raised in that era of sunscreen and protect your skin like we are now. But yeah, so any type of product that you have hyperpigmentation or dark spot from the sun, or as we age, you have to give something at least 8 to 12 weeks for that ingredient to actually work. And I think that consistency, most people don't want to put that time into.
And I'm sure it's not cheap, some of the products too. Anything that's good is going to be more expensive.
100%.
And it's easy to go for the cheaper retinol. I know that's a big ingredient I hear all the time. And you put it on your face and you think you're doing something good, but maybe it's not correct for your skin type.
100%. And that's one thing that I'm very, I'm actually going into skin coaching. So it's called The Skin CEO. I have a podcast. And I'm very, I really want to empower women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that you can have gorgeous skin, because society really does a job of being like, well, when you're 35 or whatever, you're old now, and I feel like so many times women just, they stop doing stuff, or they don't feel like they are worthy enough to invest in their skin or whatever they want to work on. And I just am like, no way. I feel like life just started for me in my 40s. You know what I'm saying? My kids are getting older. I actually have a little bit more time, more money to be able to invest in myself if I want to. So yeah, definitely going back to the ingredients. So what most people don't understand is that with serums, they're your targeting products. So every person should be using a serum, which would go before your moisturizer.
Let me write this down. Serum, moisturizer.
Yes,
okay,
because the serum, the molecular sizes of serums penetrate deeper into the skin. So a lot of times, your higher concentration, your retinols, your peptides, your hyaluronic acids, they will actually deep dive from the epidermis, which is our top layer, and go all the way down into our dermis, which is our middle layer, where that's where our collagen is. That's where you're going to find the melasma, which is giving us our dark spots and stuff like that. So most women don't realize that our moisturizers, can't penetrate that deep, right? A moisturizer is just to be able to hydrate the skin, but it also, when you're using a serum, it locks that serum in.
Okay.
So, and the serum will deep dive, and that's where you're gonna really start seeing some massive results when you're staying consistent with your skincare, when you're talking to an esthetician that understands your skin, maybe some root issues to why you're having some skin issues. Like I've had a lot of clients who have like triggers of like whether it's food allergies, stress, and
adult acne, is that
adult,
something you see?
100% with hormones, you know, so it's like once you get to these root issues and figure out all these things, then, you know, you got that clear path, and then you can feel good about purchasing that skincare again, that you're not like, am I dropping $150 and it's not even for my skin?
Right.
So,
and it's worth it too. I think you really do need to invest in yourself. And
yes.
What does everybody notice? Your face.
Exactly.
Your smile, and
yes.
it's important. Now, obviously, Lori, I can tell you're very passionate about skin, and that's kind of your forte.
Yeah.
But at the spa, you offer other services too.
Yes. So massages. We do, which our massage therapists are amazing. All of my employees are the best. Like they are very guest, experienced. Like they do that well. They're very talented in their field. So it's like even new estheticians that come in, I personally train them. So they know, what I'm saying, when the client comes in, what needs to be done. It's not like a new therapist or anything like that. So yeah, and then we have like lash lift and tints. We do brow tinting, waxing of all kinds, from face, body, everywhere. So yeah.
Do you offer Brazilian waxing?
Yes.
Because that's something I know not all wax places offer.
Yes.
And it can be hard to find that in the area.
What's the reasoning for that?
So it's a hard, Brazilian.
Do you know where it is?
Do you know what Brazilian waxing?
I know where Brazil is.
Oh, here we go.
You know what? Why don't you just ease up here, buddy? I've heard you talk before. I'm going to change the subject
I love how you
here.
say, do I know where it is? I mean, obviously, yes, I know where it's done.
Yes. What is the So Fresh effect that I've heard you mention?
The So Fresh effect?
Yes.
Oh, the So Fresh effect. Okay, this is a newer thing. I was like, wait a second.
Maybe.
Look, I tell you what, I was getting ready to say, fake it till you make it, Lori. Just say, well, yeah, that's this. But then it finally clicked for you.
I was like, oh, the So Fresh effect. Yes. So this is a 3-month program that I have that takes women through, because I always believe that it takes about 3 months for you to see really good results with the skin, whether that's like facials, Brazilian waxing. We're just going to bypass that for a second. But no, and you don't need to go to Brazil to get the Brazilian waxing. You can get it in Greencastle.
Right.
But so it takes women through a 3-month process of like an in-depth consultation, which is a little bit more in-depth because we're going over like, do you want to have any other goals? Like, do you want to lose weight? Do you want to learn how to eat better? Like all these different things. And then they get a specific facial and they get skincare along with it. So it's like, and then we do like, every month they come back in, and then that's the So Fresh effect.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How many people do you have that are going through that?
Well, it's already done. Yep. So we had about 7 women the first, and like I said, this is brand new. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do it again next year. I think I started it in February. So it's like February, March, April or something like that. But yeah, I think I'm just going to do it one time a year for any woman that wants to come in and just, never have been on a regimen, mm-hmm. or maybe they're like, okay, like I'm really ready to invest in myself, then they're the ones that should do it.
And I saw you offer different parties?
Yes. So we do offer parties. So like we've had a good bit of like bridal parties come in,
sure.
And so it's really cute. So like they can come in, they get express facials all together. They get they can pick like different foods, so like charcuterie boards. I love being in the community because I like to collab with other businesses. So like Mama K Buns.
Oh yeah.
We're really good friends. And so we do, like anytime we need like food, desserts, I go to her for that. So But yeah, it's just a fun way for people to kind of like get together and have a group of people and just, yeah.
Eat some food, can drink some wine.
Yeah, 100%. Oh yeah, we definitely offer like alcoholic
You can do
beverages.
that anytime, really.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think sets your spa apart from others that are in the area?
Okay.
It's got to be
This is a good one.
It's got to be a tough market.
It is a tough market, but I feel like for me, because I have been in the field for so long, that like I understand the guest, I understand the therapist, and I just feel like the guest experience is very, very important to me. So I want to make sure that from the time that they book their appointment to the time that they leave, that every T has been crossed, everything's perfect. And if it's not, I want to know about it. Also, I just feel like, again, as I have been an esthetician for so long, a lot of owners are not the therapist. So they just have, like, I used to work for a company that, like, he just was from DC and came in and wanted to have a day spa. And so it was like, he never understood what it was like to be on your feet for hours and to have to choose, do I want to grab something to eat or do I need to use the restroom? And so when I opened up So Fresh, I was like, I don't want my therapist working like robots. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make sure that they have ample amount of time to be able to do the consultation, talk to the client, fix the bed, and then be ready for the next client. So there's been a lot of different things that I've taken that I didn't like and that I did love, and I've kind of incorporated into So Fresh.
If your employees are happy, then the customer experience is so much better.
Exactly. Yes, and we have a very tight-knit group, and we all just love each other. We get along very well. We're a fun group. So that's something else too, because I feel like spas, I want every woman to feel like they're absolutely welcome, because I've heard so many times where people are like, they were so snotty when, I walked in and it's like, I don't ever want that. If I'd ever see that, I would address that right away, but I don't have to worry about that because my employees are so great. So
I can tell if they're anything like you.
Yeah.
It's got to be a really nice place to work.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
was looking at your services last night, and you have a wide variety of massages.
Yes.
I was really impressed with that.
Yes.
So tell us, like, I think everybody's familiar with deep tissue.
Sure.
And the hot
stone.
Hot stone.
Mhm,
What are
mhm.
some other massages that you offer?
So we do have a So Fresh massage, which is like, if you want to spoil yourself, like, that is the one to get, because it's an hour and a half long and it incorporates dry brushing, scalp massage, some hot stones. Like, it is like everything good in a massage wrapped up into one service.
What is dry brushing?
So it's like you take a brush and you just kind of lightly, it has some lymphatic benefits to it. So it helps with inflammation. It also can help with cellulite. But it's a real light just brushing on the skin. And it just helps with also removes dead skin cells. So it feels really good. I know some people are like, oh, dry brushing probably, but it actually feels really,
getting in
no,
there.
it's just like a really nice feather light movement on the skin. But it is very, very nice. It makes your skin look really, really healthy afterwards, because you're getting the dry brush and then you're getting all of those nice oils on the skin. So that's something else too that is really important, is especially moving into the fall, winter months. Our skin right now is drying out. And like I always say, this is the time to move from your lotions to your body butters. Your shea butters,
So
because
get your body butters
get
out,
your body butter.
I'll do
Definitely
that.
get your body butter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'll make a huge difference though, especially if you guys deal with dry skin or eczema or psoriasis. Like, staying ahead of the game. Don't wait till January where your skin is so but.
Do you have something for vitiligo, which is what I suffer from? I
Yeah.
still suffer, but I have it.
Yeah. That to me is a little bit more of like
dermatology.
Yeah. And that's something that I'm very real with too. Like, I'm not going to sit and pretend that, like, if you come in and you say, hey, I have this skin issue,
Yeah,
I'm
that's good.
not going to be like, oh, I know exactly what to do. I would be like, oh no, I definitely think that you need to go,
Which I do,
Mhm.
but there's, there may be some things that have perhaps an ancillary benefit
Yeah.
to that might help along the process, but nothing that's
Yeah.
super specialized that you can dial in. And I love that you have the honesty to say, look, that's just not where we
Yeah.
are. But
Yeah. I would definitely say though, any skin condition can always benefit from hydration.
Absolutely.
So anytime that your skin is more hydrated, it's healthier and it's able to receive any treatments.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So that is like my go-to. I'm always like, if I tell my estheticians, like, if you have to pick between being dry or breakouts, go dry hydrate the skin first, because then we're going to get that skin healthy enough to be able to receive the treatments in whatever aspect they want to go, whether aging or breakouts or whatever.
So if somebody were listening and they're thinking, oh my gosh, I never do anything for my skin, I never put anything on, would that be the number one advice you would give someone, is hydrate your skin?
Yes.
And what would be a product that would do that?
Okay.
A pool.
No, the shower. Actually,
Pool's
water.
horrible.
Yeah,
That's
pool
bad,
is bad unless it's salt, and it's salt water pool is a little bit better than the chlorine. But I would say a basic routine would be cleansing your skin, because you want to be able to cleanse your skin morning and night. It gets rid of, especially women that wear makeup, you really want to remove that makeup before you're able to put your products on. So I would say cleanser, a toner. Most women do not use toners, and that is like a massive fail because they're so hydrating. It's like giving your skin a drink of water. Okay. So, and it allows your serums and your moisturizers to absorb even better. So cleanser, toner, moisturizer for basic.
Is there a brand of any of these that you would say that this one stands above the others, generally speaking?
Eminence. That is, like I said, I've been an esthetician. I've used so many different lines, and Eminence is the best skincare professional line that there is. Now, I do want to mention something. So a lot of times people are like, well, I just go to CVS and I buy, my
whatever's
moisturizer.
on sale.
Yeah. And I always say, like, there is a big difference, a huge jump from over-the-counter products to professional.
Absolutely.
Because professional has, it's more higher concentration ingredients, right? And then as you move up that scale to medical grade, now they even have even higher ingredients, concentration of ingredients. So it is an investment because it is a little bit more, but ultimately I did this so I bought a moisturizer from Target, and then I showed the difference between my Eminence moisturizer. I mean, I could not believe the difference. Like, first of all, it said it was supposed to be super moisturizing, super hydrating. When I put it on my skin, I felt like it was like water. Like, it wasn't thick enough for my skin, especially someone who has dry skin. And so I showed the difference in the moisturizers inside the jars. When I would tilt the one that I bought from Target over, it would like, where when I tilted my Eminence moisturizer over, it like stayed. Dairy Queen does that. Well,
I remember that.
So that's what my Eminence moisturizer did, and I was like, right there, like, if you have dry skin, like, why would you not spend an extra? I think I paid maybe $17 for the over-the-counter, and I mean, the moisturizers from Eminence are going to range 55 to 98, but still,
But you probably need less of them.
Exactly. Yeah. Look at you. That is, most men would never say that.
Wow.
So I'm impressed.
There
we go.
I'm impressed.
I would equate it to the same as like shampoos and conditioners. If you go with the professional route, you're going to get a better quality shampoo and conditioner.
Yes.
Especially if you're trying to grow your hair or thicken your hair.
Yes.
It's the same with skincare, I would imagine.
Same thing. It's the same thing across the board. Whether you're talking food, you know what I'm saying? So many people are like, oh, organic food is so much more expensive. But really, when you look at it, it might be 30 cents more or $1.50 more, but the benefits outweigh what that price is for the long term. Like, if you're playing a long-term game of being healthy, like, the investment is worth it.
Absolutely. Lori, we're going to wrap up here in just a minute, but before we do, please plug your website. How can people find you? If somebody's thinking, oh, I want to have a consultation with Lori and talk about my skin, how would they find you?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, you can go on any of our social medias, and whether it's Facebook or Instagram, or SoFreshSpa.com, my website, and I will be the one to answer them. So if anyone wants a consultation, I would love to be able to help. That's one of my favorite things to do, is really to deep dive into their skin and to make them feel confident, and know that, like, as they age gracefully, beautifully, that they can have the stunning skin that they want no matter what age they are.
Well, thank you so much, Lori.
Yeah,
Love to
thank
have you back with some
This was
Q&A on
fun.
the skincare. That would be great.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming up, we're going to take another look at news and sports, and it's all powered by Legends Bar in Chambersburg. You can satisfy your sports fix at Legends Bar with game day specials and cold brews located Hollywell Avenue in Chambersburg.
The JR Sport Brief on the Infinity Sports Network.
Am I going to favor them to win the championship this year? The answer is no. That'll be the greatest miracle because this is the New York Jets. And unfortunately, what's most likely is that one day Aaron Rodgers packs his bags and says, I want to leave. The New York Jets don't have a coach. And the New York Jets are going to have to start from scratch and suck for many more years because another Green Bay Packers experiment quarterback screwed them. This is JR of the JR Sport Brief on 92.1 The GOAT.
Well, you can walk, you can amble,
you can jog, you can scramble,
but you still need shoes.
ELM Shoes.
Cooler temperatures have arrived, and so has our fall footwear collection at ELM Shoes. We have your feet covered with this season's styles for running and hiking, casual to dress, and even lounging. It's time to freshen up your style with this fall's coolest loafers, slippers, and boots. With over 20,000 pairs of shoes in stock, we're sure to have the styles and brands you love. We also have a great selection of ladies' handbags, and as always, plenty of amazing socks. We're here to serve you with great footwear and an enjoyable shoe shopping experience. ELM Shoes in historic downtown Greencastle, Pennsylvania, and online at elmshoes.com. We'll see you on the square.
So check here first. We've got the good news. Yes, you're gonna need shoes. ELM Shoes.
Halloween costumes aren't just for people anymore. Celebrate the spooky season and dress up your pet for a chance to win a $100 gift card to River City Farm and Supply in Williamsport, Maryland. Visit 921thegoat.com to enter a pic of your furry friend for a chance to win a treat this Halloween. Don't wait. The deadline for entry is November 1st. Thanks to River City Farm and Supply and Town of Williamsport Main Street for supporting all of our fancy furry friends with the $100 grand prize. Enter today at 921thegoat.com. Wholesale Pallet Pushers is 6,500 feet of deals. Buy pallets, bins, mystery boxes, and save big. Electronics, clothing, home goods, power tools, home improvement, and construction items, and more. Pay half of what you would normally pay. Wholesale Pallet Pushers resells liquidated goods from major retailers at a fraction of the original prices. You'll always find a great buy. Wholesale Pallet Pushers, 231 East Oak Ridge Drive, across from the Meadows in Hagerstown. Find them on Facebook. Wholesale Pallet Pushers, your go-to hub for quality, diversified pallet loads.
Franklin Hardware and Pet Center is a community dedicated to helping you and your pets thrive. They are always ready to lend a paw or hand with expert advice and personalized service. Remember, it's never too early to start your pup on a pre- and probiotic with digestive enzymes. It helps with your new furry friend's immune system and promotes healthy bowel movements. For mature and large breed dogs, it's never too early to start helping them with joint pain. Ultra Oil is great for joint support and it contributes to healthy skin and coats. Finally, when you reward your canine with treats, whether it's a small biscuit or a large bone, your buddy's going to be excited to receive either one. So don't overdo the treats. For more healthy tips for your pet's well-being, stop by Franklin Hardware and Pet Center, 1975 Philadelphia Avenue, Chambersburg. On Facebook and online at franklinhardwareandpetcenter.com.
Franklin Hardware and Pet Center, taking good care of your house and your home.
Sunday, January 26th, it's the Tristate Bridal Show at Valley Mall, Hagerstown. This is the ultimate showcase for area bridal professionals, local bakers, photographers, caterers, DJs, travel planners, bands, venues. You'll want to meet the brides-to-be. Make sure you're at the top of their list by being a vendor in the 2025 Tri-State Bridal Show at Valley Mall, Hagerstown, Sunday, January 26th. Visit bestofthetristate.com for vendor information today.
Kamala Harris gets that everyday costs are too high. She has real plans to tackle price gouging, cut taxes for middle-class families, and make life more affordable. Her opponent's plan?
Donald Trump plans to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax. On everyday products, it will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. Donald Trump's plan would cost a typical family $3,900 a year. When everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher.
Kamala Harris, a better plan for lowering costs for a future we can afford. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Keep things simple. If you need a vehicle, the best deal in the Tri-State is at McCoy Auto Sales, and it's easy. No pressure, no parade of managers. Just quality vehicles at prices you can afford. Stop by their lot on Lincoln Way West to see new options arriving every week. Pick out the vehicle you like, get your trade-in value and the final price. Drive home happy, stress-free. See why McCoy Auto Sales was voted best used dealer in the Tri-State. 2859 Lincoln Way West, Chambersburg, and online at McCoyAutoSales.com.
Everybody's athletic journey is different. Some athletes might find themselves injured, and others are looking to get back into their favorite activity. At Meritus Sports Medicine, our expert team will support the unique needs of athletes of all ages and levels, from youth to professional. Conveniently located at the Valley Mall, our new facility boasts leading-edge technology and the compassionate local care everyone deserves. Our expert team will develop individual treatment plans guided by the needs and goals of each athlete. To learn more, visit meritushealth.com/sports medicine.
Discover premier living in Martinsburg. Imagine waking up to a stunning western mountain view in a DRB Homes community rich with top-tier amenities for unparalleled comfort and elegance. Change your address to Martinsburg Station Townhomes. Low maintenance, quality crafted DRB homes in a stunning setting in the city's latest planned community, Martinsburg Station Townhomes. Stop searching. Start enjoying life in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Visit drbhomes.com and discover the legacy of DRB Homes.
Shelters are full across the country, and the Humane Society of Washington County is no exception. Hundreds of animals are in care between the shelter and foster homes. They need your help. Please consider adopting a pet or volunteer. Help walk dogs, wash and fold laundry, distribute food from the pet food bank. Have a garage, warehouse, barn, or other suitable shelter? Adopt a working cat. You can save a life. Adopt a pet from the Humane Society of Washington County, and remember to have your pets spayed or neutered. Learn more ways to help at hswcmd.org.
Keep things simple. If you need a vehicle, the best deal in the Tri-State is at McCoy Auto Sales, and it's easy. No pressure, no parade of managers. Just quality vehicles at prices you can afford. Stop by their lot on Lincoln Way West to see new options arriving every week. Pick out the vehicle you like, get your trade-in value and the final price. Drive home happy, stress-free. See why McCoy Auto Sales was voted best used dealer in the Tri-State. 2859 Lincoln Way West, Chambersburg, and online at McCoyAutoSales.com.
Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie.
A Franklin County, Pennsylvania man was recently sentenced in Washington County Circuit Court to 8 years in state prison after reaching a plea deal regarding an April 23, 2023 car crash that resulted in the death of his best friend, Anthony Ruff. Zachary Fitzwater, 24 of Antrim Township, that's right here in Greencastle, entered an Alford plea on October 16th to vehicular homicide while impaired by alcohol, driving while impaired by alcohol, and driver failing to remain at the scene with knowledge another person had died. Maryland State Police have said they responded around 4:12 a.m. on Sunday, April 23rd of 2023 on the Greencastle Pike for a single vehicle collision. Ruff, 23 of Frederick, Maryland area, was pronounced dead at the scene, state police have said.
And he was only 23?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible.
And if it were my family member who had passed away, the part that just would really upset me the most is that someone left.
Yeah.
Now, even if it was instantaneous death, just to know that person, because it's 4 a.m. How many cars do you think are going to be passing by? And that person just laid there until someone came along.
I don't want to think about
that.
To be honest with you,
awful,
Tiny.
Yeah.
The Mason-Dixon District, say that one 10 times fast.
Hard enough to get through one.
The Mason-Dixon District of Shenandoah Area Council Scouting America will present its inaugural Distinguished Citizen Award to Washington County United Way President and CEO, Heather Gesford.
Yeah, congratulations, Heather.
Of Hagerstown, and Pennsylvania State Representative Paul Schemmel of Greencastle, Pennsylvania. Obviously, Paul, that's wonderful, and I'm excited for you. But Heather is someone that we know. We
Very
just recently had on the show, so that's really exciting for her. We'll have
congratulations.
We'll definitely have to have her on so she can talk a little bit more about that. The 2 award recipients will be honored at a Take Flight for Scouting fundraising dinner that is happening on Saturday, November 2nd. That's this Saturday at the Hagerstown Aviation Museum. Congratulations, both Heather and Paul.
I've really been wanting to get to that museum. We've talked about it twice.
I was just going to say, that has been coming up a few times.
I need to get there because I love the rich history of the area with Fairchild Aviation. So,
have you ever been to D.C. to the Air and Space Museum?
I have not.
You would really like that.
Oh, sure I would.
It's quite interesting. I know how you feel about museums.
Oh, yeah.
You do enjoy.
I mean, my birthday we went to a museum.
We
the
did.
30th birthday, the big one.
Your 30th birthday. We had the choice. We could go to Aruba or go to museums. And what did Tiny choose? To museums we went.
Well, just one.
But yeah, it was great. We're going to go ahead and take another look at news and sports. Nope, I'm so sorry about that. Let's check in with sports and not news with Andy.
Last night in Game 3 of the World Series, the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the New York Yankees 4-2, moving their series lead to 3-0. Tonight, Game 4 will take place at 8:08, and we'll see if the Los Angeles Dodgers can sweep the New York Yankees and get another World Series championship. Both Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge, 2 powerhouses for each respective team, went 0-3 last night. Freddie Freeman had a home run going 1-3 and brought in 2 RBIs. The winner on the night was Walker Buehler for the Dodgers and the losing pitcher, Clark Schmidt, for the New York Yankees. The Pittsburgh Steelers improved their record last night on Monday Night Football to 6-2, while the New York Giants fell to 2-6. Russell Wilson had a stellar night, going 20 of 28 for 278 yards and tossing 1 touchdown. Najee Harris also rushed for 19 times and 114 yards. George Pickens had 4 receptions for 72 yards, while Calvin Austin III had somewhat of a breakout game. He returned a touchdown after a kick return. Calvin Austin III for the Steelers had a breakout game on Monday Night Football. He returned one to the house for the Pittsburgh Steelers, getting a touchdown early in the game and also getting 3 receptions for 54 yards and a touchdown. For the New York Giants, Daniel Jones, 24 of 38, no touchdowns, and he tossed 1 interception. Tyrone Tracy rushed for 145 yards on the night with 20 carries and a score, but it wasn't enough to bring them ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football. Darius Slayton was the lead receiver for the Giants, 4 receptions and 108 yards. Last night in NBA action, Paolo Banchero of the Orlando Magic had a record night. He's dropped 50 points while pulling in 13 rebounds and 9 assists, just 1 assist shy from a triple-double. The Orlando Magic beat the Pacers 119-115, improving their record to 3-1. The Wizards beat the Hawks last night 121-119, while Kyle Kuzma put in 25 points for the Wizards with 11 rebounds and 7 assists. The Boston Celtics beat the Milwaukee Bucks 119-108. Damian Lillard lead scorer for the Milwaukee Bucks with 33 points and 7 rebounds and 7 assists, while Peyton Pritchard was the lead scorer for the Boston Celtics with 28 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists on the night. The Miami Heat beat the Detroit Pistons 106-98. The Heat are now 2-1, and the Pistons are 0-4 on the season, yet to get a win. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the New York Knicks 110-104. The Cavaliers remain undefeated. Darius Garland, the lead scorer for the Cavaliers last night with 34 points. And Mikal Bridges for the New York Knicks pulled in 19 points with 6 rebounds and 3 assists on the evening. The Denver Nuggets beat the Toronto Raptors in a close one. The game went to overtime, and the Nuggets came out on top 127-125. Nikola Jokic had 40 points and 10 rebounds on the night with 4 assists. The Chicago Bulls were able to battle back and beat the Ja Morantless Memphis Grizzlies last night 126-123. Zach LaVine was the lead scorer for Chicago with 30 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. The Houston Rockets edged out the San Antonio Spurs 106-101. Victor Wembanyama had 14 points with 20 rebounds and 4 blocks on the evening. The Dallas Mavericks beat the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz are also winless so far on the season. Colin Sexton dropped 23 points for the Jazz, while Kyrie Irving had 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists for the Mavs. The Los Angeles Lakers fell to the Phoenix Suns with their first loss of the season last night, 109-105. Anthony Davis had 29 points with 15 rebounds and 3 blocks, while Kevin Durant dropped 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 blocks on the night. The Sacramento Kings beat the Portland Trail Blazers last night 111-98. DeAndre Ayton had 20 points with 11 rebounds, while Domantas Sabonis had 16 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists. Coming up tonight, the Nuggets take on the Nets, the Mavericks battle the Timberwolves, the Kings take on the Jazz, and the Pelicans will battle the Golden State Warriors.
If you'd like to be featured on the Coach's Corner with Andy, email coach at 921thegoat.com.
Kamala Harris gets that everyday costs are too high. She has real plans to tackle price gouging, cut taxes for middle-class families, and make life more affordable. Her opponent's plan?
Donald Trump plans to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax. On everyday products, it will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. Donald Trump's plan would cost a typical family $3,900 a year. When everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher.
Kamala Harris, a better plan for lowering costs for a future we can afford. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC's responsible for the content of this advertising.
Shelters are full across the country, and the Humane Society of Washington County is no exception. Hundreds of animals are in care between the shelter and foster homes. They need your help. Please consider adopting a pet or volunteer. Help walk dogs, wash and fold laundry, distribute food from the pet food bank. Have a garage, warehouse, barn, or other suitable shelter? Adopt a working cat. You can save a life. Adopt a pet from the Humane Society of Washington County, and remember to have your pets spayed or neutered. Learn more ways to help at hswcmd.org.
Friday, November 8th, Greencastle Family Dental will offer services including fillings, cleanings, extractions, and limited oral exams at no charge to veterans in the tri-state area without dental benefits. For more details, call 717-597-7197. If you are interested in this event or would like to donate sealed snacks or drinks, call 717-597-7197 or send a message via Facebook or Google. Greencastle Family Dental, 50 Eastern Avenue, Suite 108.
Are you currently medically uninsured? Uninsured citizens are healthier and more productive through free access to health care. Are you currently a citizen of Washington County, Maryland?
Hi, I'm Nicole, Executive Director of the Community Free Clinic. We can help those in need of physical or mental health care, including prescription medicine and lab services. Services are not based on income. Most services are free to qualifying patients. Are you currently medically uninsured? If you need physical or mental health care, learn if you qualify at mycommunityfreeclinic.org.
Medicare open enrollment begins October 15th. Are you ready to explore your options? In Pennsylvania, you can get free, personalized assistance from PA Medi. PA Medi at your local area agency on aging is your trusted, unbiased source for Medicare information. They'll help you compare benefits and plans in your area and could even help save you money. Call PA Medi at 1-800-783-7067 today.
Supported by a grant from the Administration for Community Living, paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Walk into SA Tactical and Outdoors with your old gun and walk out with something you've been dreaming of. SA Tactical buys all types of used firearms, more than most places, and they offer fair market value. With every purchase of a firearm, you'll also receive 10% off all accessories. Take advantage of this opportunity to upgrade your firearms. SA Tactical and Outdoors, 43 West King Street, Shippensburg. Online at satacticaloutdoors.com. SA Tactical. Get armed.
I'm with Skip Jennings from Jennings Chevrolet Buick GMC in Chambersburg. Skip, all we hear about on the news is how prices are going up on just about everything. What's your take?
Ben, there's no question that we've seen unprecedented inflation, but in my almost 40 years in the new car business, I've never seen a time where we have so many affordable new vehicles.
That seems impossible. Give me some examples.
Ben, we have new Colorado pickup trucks starting at under 31 grand, new Equinoxes starting at under 27 grand, and the all-new Chevrolet Trax starting at under 21 grand.
Those prices are hard to believe. What about Buick prices?
We have Envisions for under $34,000, Envistas for under $28,000, and Encore GXs for under $22,000.
Those are crazy low prices in today's world. How about financing rates?
We have 5.9% for 84 months on all new HD Silverados and Sierras.
That sure helps to make the payments affordable on those heavy-duty trucks.
Great prices, great financing options, and great selection make October the month to buy a new vehicle. Stop in today at Jennings Chevrolet Buick GMC. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Ho, ho, ho. It's that time of year. Well, almost. Entries are open now through November 1st for the 39th annual Greencastle Christmas Parade. The field fills up quickly, so enter your organization or business now by going to the events tab on 921thegoat.com. The parade will be Saturday, November 23rd at 9:21 a.m. All details for entrance are online, so sign up today and lock in your spot for the biggest parade in Greencastle with hundreds of your neighbors and friends. Presented by Verstantic Media and
Antrim Way Honda.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Tri-State, powered by Home Right Windows and Doors, the right choice, winner of the 2024 Best of the Tri-State Awards.
Now we have TJ Graham, who
Yes.
is the president of Carry Your Cross Incorporated.
Yes.
Thank you so much, TJ, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about your organization.
So it's a nonprofit company that promotes Christianity through physical activity. My goal was trying to get, one, to promote more Christianity in a unique way rather than just the typical preaching, community events that raise money through typical funds. But I wanted to also promote physical activity to the community as well. So my first, how it came to be was about a year ago. I was actually watching YouTube. I was watching a comedian by the name of JP Sears, and he did an event where he strapped 400 pounds to him, whether it was a weight vest, ankle weights, kettlebells, a weight sled, and he walked a mile.
400 pounds.
Total,
Whoa.
yep. And he was talking about all the challenges and mental struggles that he was going through during that mile. And I don't know whether it was intervention by God or something, but my immediate thought was, what did Jesus go through? What was he thinking whenever he was carrying the cross? So I started doing some research, and I was looking, I was like, trying to figure out the dimensions of the cross, the weight of it, how far he had to carry it. So I started finding different information and testing some runs out and stuff. And it really just got me to get a better appreciation for Jesus' sacrifice. Because a lot of times we think, yes, Jesus gave his life up for us as a deal with God for our sins, but we don't really truly appreciate that because we don't know what he all went through. We haven't got to experience it firsthand because of his sacrifice.
So this is your organization.
Yes.
This is your brainchild, and you came up with all
Yes.
of this and put it together. Wow,
Yes.
that's impressive.
Can you take us through your personal history? So you walk us through where you were born, how you grew up, and then what brought you to here.
Okay. So I was actually born in Scotland, or born in Hagerstown, Maryland, but I've been living in Scotland for my whole life.
Not Scotland.
Not Scotland, the country,
Right, okay.
Scotland, PA, just down, up the road from here.
I was going to say, you came all the way just for us? Thank you.
I would not have a very good Scotland accent if I was there, born from there.
I was going to say, if we had started with, before we were on the air, you said Scotland.
Yes.
And obviously it registered. Had you not, and you just said what you said, without any foreknowledge, Katie would have been like, well, his accent really lessened over
really
there.
hides it. Wow.
Yeah, you don't want me to try a Scottish accent, so. But yeah, so I was born and raised in Scotland, PA. I actually went to Corpus Christi Catholic Church up until 8th grade. And then after 8th grade, I went to St. Maria Goretti for 9th. Didn't really fit with me, so then I transferred to Chambersburg Area School District for the last 3 years. And around that time, I was playing sports. I got injured in my junior year, ended up going to physical therapy for that, and I was like, I can see myself doing this. So I started to pursue physical therapy. I applied to schools that had the physical therapy program there, so I didn't have to worry about transferring later on. I got accepted into the University of Scranton up in the northeast part of Pennsylvania, and I was able to complete all 7 years there, and I graduated from the PT program in 2015. For my undergrad, I actually did Army ROTC to help pay for college, and I found out that I could be a physical therapist for the Army. So once I completed my doctorate degree in physical therapy, I went into active duty Army, and I was stationed down in El Paso, Texas for 4 years. I was moved around a couple different environments. I was in a hospital setting, I was in a clinic setting, and then I was actually attached to a tank unit, or tank brigade, for the last 2 years. And it put a lot of strain on me once I was in the brigade, because they put me in an administration role rather than being a physical therapist. I was in charge of people more. And I wasn't able to do therapy as much, which is what I really enjoy doing.
It's your passion.
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. So went through some rough times, kind of got burnt out from the military. So then I ended up getting out in 2020, right when COVID hit. And I was down in Texas, didn't really know what to do next, and ended up, since my family's all back this area, I moved back here and was trying to figure out my next step. I was applying for jobs up and down the East Coast, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, all sorts of things. Just didn't really hear back from them. I had a really good family friend. She actually reached out and put me in contact with my now boss, Tom Blount and Chris. I cannot think of his last name right now.
You'll get it in like 45 seconds.
Right when you leave
say,
here.
oh yeah, that's what it was.
I just got it, Zents.
Okay.
So, sorry about that, Chris. But we got in touch with them, met with them, really liked the atmosphere, really liked the environment, and just been working there ever since. So prior to that, whenever I was pursuing the physical therapy route, the science-based environment, I started to walk away from the faith a little bit. I was having a harder time truly believing, because it was hard for me to grasp, because I couldn't have concrete evidence. So I became more of an agnostic rather than a Catholic. And for the longest time, I just wasn't sure, so I started to just not be able to truly trust until at some point I started to see the effects that happen whenever we take God and Jesus out of the environment. We start to fill them with a lot more evil, sinful activities, greed, all these negative aspects that come into the environment and have a negative impact around the community, rather than what Christianity and God and Jesus promote. So seeing that, I realized there's got to be something to it. There's got to be something that could be my concrete evidence. So I gradually started to get back into doing more research, trying to figure out ways that I could find myself believing, and just pursuing that base. So come to this, the creation of Carry Your Cross, it started with trying to figure out ways that can promote Christianity to a large population rather than going through an individual church. I wanted to be able to impact multiple churches, multiple people in the community, so that it could, regardless of what their specific denomination is, they can come and partake in this. And Christianity, all Christians believe that Jesus died on the cross and for our sins. So this is an event that I can bring a lot of people together to get that experience.
And talk to us about the event.
So the event is a cross-carrying competition where people will sign up to compete to carry a life-size replica of Jesus' cross, the total of 2,000 feet, or just under half a mile. And however fast they complete it, the top 3 finishers get at cash prizes for both men and women. You don't even have to compete or complete the event to actually be placed. So if nobody completes the entire 2,000 feet in a allotted time of 45 minutes, then their distance is measured, and the furthest distance traveled in that 45 minutes is then first place, second place, and third place. And that way, everybody has an opportunity to complete and get some cash prizes. They'll get a t-shirt for signing up as well. So
what's the weight of it?
So the weight that's going to be on top of the shoulder is 160 pounds, so
Okay.
right at the cross beam. The cross is 12 feet tall and 6 feet wide, so they'll be carrying it on top of their shoulder and kind of dragging the back portion of it.
So it's not hooked on
No,
in any way?
so they have to manage it all on top of their shoulders on themselves. They are able to drop it, and preferably in a controlled way, rather than risking hurting themselves or anything. but they are able to rest as they need to. I will have spotters there to help out, just kind of managing the cross to make sure that nobody gets hurt by the cross falling on them or anything like that.
Is this the first? I'm sorry, Tiny. I have so many questions.
It's okay.
Is this the first time you're doing this event?
Yes.
And
yes,
when is it?
So this is going to be on April 19th, 2025, which
Okay.
is Holy Saturday of next year. There's a tentative plan that if I have more than 50 competitors sign up, I'm going to move it a weekend ahead of time, so I can use the whole weekend rather than just the Holy Saturday. Because I don't want to use it on Easter Sunday, but I wanted to be as close to that holiday as possible, just to be able to enrich the environment with that.
And where is the event?
So it's going to be up in the Shippensburg Fairgrounds, where they do the tractor pull section. That way they can do it in the dirt track. We don't have to worry about destroying any land with carrying the cross and everything. So I'll be able to fit 5 lanes at a time, so 5 competitors can go at once, and then I'll have multiple heats throughout the day.
I think a lot of people may be listening to this, hearing it, and I'm certainly, the focus obviously is not the competition, so to speak, but there's the mission and the message. But I think a lot of people may be hearing this, well, 2,000 feet, I can carry 2,000 feet. That may be true, but you get probably, I would say, a quarter of the way in, and you realize fairly quickly that 160 pounds is a lot of weight.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's unwieldy because it is a replica of the cross.
Yes.
Yeah, so it can't be easy. Have you yourself, done this? Have you practiced this? Have you completed it?
Yes. So I've done it twice. I wanted to figure out a good time frame, and I wanted to make sure that 45 minutes was enough time for all sorts of people to try to complete it in. So the first time I completed it, I actually overshot the distance. I did 3,300 feet instead of 2,000 feet.
Look at you go.
And I did it in 37 and a half minutes. So I was a little concerned on that. I was like, I don't know if this is going to be reasonable within the 45 minutes. So then I remeasured. I figured out that I did extra time. So I got the right 2,000 feet time for the second round, did it again, and I actually completed it in 18 minutes.
Wow.
So there are going to be people that can be faster. There are going to be people that are slower, but I think that 45-minute time frame is a good range to do.
The Carry Your Cross is the name of your organization.
Yes.
Is the sole focus this event, or are there other things that happen outside of this event?
So right now, since this is a newly established organization, I'm really devoted towards getting this specific event established first. I have goals for this in the future. If it does take off and does well, I definitely have more ideas for promoting it to kids, getting it kind of into a team event where we can have like a set of 4 people carry it, just so it can have more people involved with that. And then on top of that, I do have some extra, some events that I'm planning in the future once I get this established.
I would be very careful because this could be something that could take off nationwide as and I love the idea of that. I think that'd be a great idea to spread the word and then have a fun event and with remembrance and reverence toward the sacrifice of Christ. So when we talk about that, I saw your website. You focus, and I understand why, but for those who are listening or watching who may not know, the word that I think that the phrase that I see a lot of on your website is the Via Dolorosa, which obviously is Latin for the way of suffering, which some people may call the Stations of the Cross. So take us through, you don't have to hit on all of them, but I'm sure that's obviously, since it's on your website and what you've told us so far, that the Via Dolorosa was very inspirational and foundational to you to putting this event together. So just take us through that a little bit if you would.
Yeah, so the reason I chose the Via Dolorosa is because one, it is the name for his trek to Mount Calvary, and two, because it's the way of the suffering, way of sorrowful way. This event is not meant to make people feel good during it. It is meant to give them an appreciation for what Jesus did. So they are going to be suffering, they're going to be hurting. It's not going to be comfortable because the cross is heavy and it's on one side of your body at one time.
Yeah, it's awkwardly
so you're not,
shaped.
yeah, exactly. You're not going to be able to carry it comfortably. So you're going to have to really figure out how to push through that. Now, for legal reasons, I cannot do what they did to Jesus at the time. So I wanted to make sure that I tried to get it as realistic as possible. So that's why I'm using the whole cross, because sometimes some people believe that it was only the cross beam. Other people believe it was the whole cross.
Some people believe that the cross itself was just a beam in general.
Exactly. Yeah. So I wanted to be able to use a significant picture and get it so that it can be as challenging as possible to replicate that event.
What I think too is that the cross itself is very significant, and it's that visual. You know exactly what's going. Look, I haven't even seen your event, but if it's what I'm picturing, you couldn't help but be there and know exactly what's going on. There's no question about it. Put it into context of when you're having it. It all fits together. So I don't think that there's much of a choice in the way of the remembering and why this is happening. And it just so happens that it could be obviously challenging, but ultimately a fun, beneficial. You know, in that sense. You don't want to. You want to use the word fun in the conventional context, but just a very good, uplifting overall event. Sure, there's the remembrance and there's the sorrow that we would feel because it's a very reverent event. But then ultimately there's the triumph, there's the victory, this is obviously the focus on the death and the burial. But then it is the victory with the resurrection, the overcoming of death, hell, and the grave. So that's, with all of that, it ends, the story ends, or some would say begins very well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With the little bit of time we have left, TJ, if somebody wanted to participate in the event, where would they start?
So the website, www.carry-your-cross.org, has all the information on the event. It has a registration tab on there. It also has volunteer options there, because I do need volunteers to help out for multiple different things. But the website, you'll be able to find out all that information. It has the mission statement, the purpose statement. It has my core values as well. And they can sign up through all that through the website.
Did you say there was a cap on the number of people? Did you say what that is?
Tentatively, if I can only do it one day, I'm going to only be able to fit 50 people total, just for time and space allowance right now.
Wow, good for you. So, what an undertaking and really interesting event. I've never heard anything like this before. So anything we can do to help, let us know. And thanks for spending some time with us today.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate you having me on here, because anything that people can do to spread the word is great. And I hope, like you said, I hope it takes off nationwide, so that way people can just get a better remembrance.
That's right.
Very cool.
I agree.
Thanks, DJ. Coming up, we're going to take a look at news and sports, and it's all powered by the DRB Group, the right partner for your real estate development.
Planning the perfect wedding? Have you already had the ultimate wedding? Would you like to be featured in the upcoming Tristate Bridal magazine? If your dream wedding has, in reality, taken place within the past 3 years, submit your details at bestofthetristate.com and you could be featured in the magazine. You know you want to. Go ahead. Say, I do want to share my dream wedding with the world. For submission requirements and more details, visit bestofthetristate.com.
When you and your loved one need extra support for a very serious illness, there's just one call to make. To Hospice of Washington County.
They provided a team of professionals to meet our loved ones and our family's needs.
They allowed me to be my mother's daughter again and to spend special time with her. I knew I had help just a phone call away.
They were there in our home with help and medical equipment exactly when we needed them.
When your loved one needs extra support for a serious illness, there's just one call to make. To Hospice of Washington County. Hospice care is a fully covered Medicare and Medicaid benefit, and no one is ever turned away for an inability to pay. Hospice of Washington County cares for the whole family. Call 301-791-6360. That's 301-791-6360. Or visit hospiceofwc.org.
Franklin Hardware and Pet Center is a community dedicated to helping you and your pets thrive. They are always ready to lend a paw or hand with expert advice and personalized service. Remember, it's never too early to start your pup on a pre- and probiotic with digestive enzymes. It helps with your new furry friend's immune system and promotes healthy bowel movements. For mature and large breed dogs, it's never too early to start helping them with joint pain. Ultra Oil is great for joint support and it contributes to healthy skin and coats. Finally, when you reward your canine with treats, whether it's a small biscuit or a large bone, your buddy's going to be excited to receive either one. So don't overdo the treats. For more healthy tips for your pet's well-being, stop by Franklin Hardware and Pet Center, 1975 Philadelphia Avenue, Chambersburg. On Facebook and online at franklinhardwareandpetcenter.com.
Franklin Hardware and Pet Center, taking good care of your house and your home.
Wholesale Pallet Pushers is 6,500 feet of deals. Buy pallets, bins, mystery boxes, and save big. Electronics, clothing, home goods, power tools, home improvement, and construction items, and more. Pay half of what you would normally pay. Wholesale Pallet Pushers resells liquidated goods from major retailers at a fraction of the original prices. You'll always find a great buy. Wholesale Pallet Pushers, 231 East Oak Ridge Drive, across from the Meadows in Hagerstown. Find them on Facebook. Wholesale Pallet Pushers, your go-to hub for quality, diversified pallet loads.
Well, you can walk, you can amble, you can jog, you can scramble, but you still need shoes. ELM shoes.
Cooler temperatures have arrived, and so has our fall footwear collection at ELM Shoes. We have your feet covered with this season's styles for running and hiking, casual to dress, and even lounging. It's time to freshen up your style with this fall's coolest loafers, slippers, and boots. With over 20,000 pairs of shoes in stock, we're sure to have the styles and brands you love. We also have a great selection of ladies' handbags, and as always, plenty of amazing socks. We're here to serve you with great footwear and an enjoyable shoe shopping experience. ELM Shoes in historic downtown Greencastle, Pennsylvania, and online at elmshoes.com. We'll see you on the square.
So check here first, we've got the good news. Yes, you're gonna need shoes. ELM shoes.
Halloween costumes aren't just for people anymore. Celebrate the spooky season and dress up your pet for a chance to win a $100 gift card to River City Farm and Supply in Williamsport, Maryland. Visit 921thegoat.com to enter a pic of your furry friend for a chance to win a treat this Halloween. Don't wait. The deadline for entry is November 1st. Thanks to River City Farm and Supply and Town of Williamsport Main Street for supporting all of our fancy furry friends with the $100 grand prize. Enter today at 921thegoat.com.
Space is important, and so is not being a hoarder. At On Point Storage in Chambersburg and Fayetteville, they have all the space you'll ever need, from a cubby to a whole lot. On Point Storage has climate-controlled units, the ultimate space to keep your things safe. And right now, save half off the first full month's rent at their Chambersburg and Fayetteville units. On Point Storage, state-of-the-art storage with 24-hour access and video surveillance. Declutter your home with a climate-controlled unit at On Point Storage, Chambersburg and Fayetteville. Full details at onpointstoragepA.com.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
I feel the same way that I felt yesterday. I feel like this was a game that the Cowboys should have won.
They did.
They did. I didn't think they were spectacular, but that's okay. You don't have to do style points. This is in college. We're not trying to impress the BCS. This was good for them to get away with a win. And I still have them not making the playoffs this year. Hey, this is Maggie Gray on 92.1 The GOAT, the Tri-State home for local sports and news.
Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie.
Let's talk Tri-State.
Get ready for a night of singing and dancing if you want to. There's a big concert coming to Waynesboro. They are going to be hosting the Forever Simon and Garfunkel tribute on Sunday, November 10th at 3 p.m. in the Oyer Auditorium of Waynesboro Area Senior High School. Acclaimed singer-songwriters Sean Altman and Jack Sculler will perform iconic hits like The Sound of Silence and Bridge Over Troubled Water. Do you want me to sing a little bit of it?
But the question I have is, and I'm genuinely asking this because the only Simon and Garfunkel song I know is like A Bridge Over Troubled Water. Is it really dancing music?
I think you can dance to whatever music feels good.
Sure, I mean, if the spirit moves you, you can dance.
Who am I to say what makes your hips shake or mine, you know?
I got to be honest with you, every time I hear like a bridge over, I'm like...
You're busting out the robot and
Actually, probably be more like
the sway. Just a nice, easy sway.
Like one of the Temptations.
Right. Well, I never know what makes somebody get to their feet and, dance the night away.
I wouldn't stand up for it.
Well, tickets are $25 for adults, free admission for K-12 students accompanied by an adult. This concert also honors military personnel and their families as part of the Waynesboro Community Concert Association's ongoing commitment to local communities. And again, that is on Sunday, November 10th, which really is not that far away. What is that, like 2 weeks away from now? Not even? Oh, my goodness.
It seems like once Halloween's over, it's just full bore into the holidays. Before you know it, Thanksgiving is here, and then this time of year
flies.
Does go so fast.
And it's a shame that it does, because this is the best time of year. The weather is great. You're making all these memories with the family. There's so many community events. And
my favorite thing is the season. I love the holiday season.
Well, everybody's happy and cheerful and in a good mood and giving and blessed and feeling grateful.
The thing is, though, the reason that don't get me wrong, I love the day. Christmas Day is fine, but it's the day is kind of depressing because you're like, well, it's here.
And now it's
all
over.
This build up is here, and then before you know it, it's like going to bed for the night, and Christmas is over for another year.
And I used to always say when I was a teacher that how did I word this? I used to always say Januaries are like the Monday of months.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's that the whole month of January just drags and drags, and the weather gets cold, and then we have snow.
But my birthday is in January.
Your birthday, my niece, my brother, there's a lot of great birthdays.
Well, let's not muddy the waters with everyone else. Just not me.
Right, yeah, selfish. What's going on with you, buddy?
So let's drop down to Hagerstown for this story. The Maryland Attorney General's office is investigating a police-involved in-custody death involving a man in Hagerstown that police took into custody on Saturday night, according to the Attorney General's office. Hagerstown police had taken the man outside a downtown Hagerstown home where a search warrant was being executed into custody, put him in the back of the police cruiser, the release states. I can't imagine being the police officers and coming upon this guy. All you did was put him in the back seat, and then next thing you know, he's gone.
Yeah.
Essentially.
How does that happen?
I'm not quite... Well, they are investigating. So a quote is, while in the back seat of the police cruiser, the man vomited, had difficulty breathing, and became unresponsive. Officers immediately rendered medical aid. The man was transported to an area hospital where he was pronounced dead. The release states the AG's Independent Investigations Division is investigating the in-custody death.
Oh, you'll have to keep everybody updated with that information.
Their names weren't released, but I'm sure those officers feel horrible about that. I'm not even saying they did anything wrong, but you just would feel so bad.
Absolutely. If it happens in your presence, whether it's just, that's pretty terrible. Let's go ahead and take a look at sports with Andy.
Here's your scores from last night in Washington County, starting with flag football. On Monday, Clear Spring battled Williamsport, came out the winner 12-0. Tonight, Smithsburg will take on Boonesboro at 5 p.m. in Boonesboro. Tonight for boys soccer in Washington County, the Maryland 3A West Region 1 final between Tuscarora and North Hagerstown kicks off at 7 p.m. in North Hagerstown. The Maryland 1A West Region 2 final between Boonesboro and Brunswick will kick off at 7 p.m. in Brunswick. Also tonight for soccer playoff action for girls soccer in Washington County, the Maryland 1A West Region 2 final between Smithsburg and Brunswick will kick off at 5 o'clock in Brunswick. And in volleyball last night for Washington County, the CMC Large School and the CMC Small School Championships took place. The Large School Championship took place between North Hagerstown and Frederick at Tuscarora. North Hagerstown won 3-0 by scores of 25-18, 25-11, and 25-17. For the CMC Small School Championship taking place at Williamsport, Williamsport beat Smithsburg 3-0. Williamsport won by scores of 30-28, 25-16, and 25-20 in all three matches. Tonight, South Hagerstown will take on Catoctin at Catoctin. That match starts at 7 p.m. The two-time defending Class 3A state champion North Hagerstown and 16-time state champion Williamsport earned region number 1 seeds as the MPSSAA announced the volleyball playoff brackets yesterday afternoon. The Hubs are 13-1, and they have won 5 Class 3A state titles since 2011. They're the top seed in the 3A West Region 1. They'll host a region semifinal on Friday at 6 p.m. against the winner of Wednesday's quarterfinal between number 4 Tuscarora and number 5 Oakdale. South Hagerstown with a record of 3-10, is the number 7 seed in the 3A West Region 1 and will travel to face number 2 Linganore on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Williamsport, standing at 9-5, is the top seed and defending champion in 2A West Region 1 and the only team with a winning record in the region. The Wildcats will host the region semifinal on Saturday against the winner of Wednesday's quarterfinal between number 4 Winters Mill and number 5 Walkersville. Two-time defending Class 1A state champion Clear Spring, standing at 10-5, is the number 4 seed in 1A West Region 1 after winning a coin flip with Mountain Ridge. The Blazers will host the Miners on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Hancock, standing at 11-4, is the number 3 seed in the 1A West Region 1 and will host number 6 Southern Garrett on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Smithsburg, with a record of 11-3, is the number 2 seed in the 1A West Region 2 and has a quarterfinal bye. Boonesboro, also 11-3, is the number 3 seed, and they'll host number 6 Brunswick in a quarterfinal Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., with the winner traveling to face Smithsburg in the semifinals Saturday at 11 a.m. The top seed in the 1A West Region 2 is undefeated South Carroll, which beat Smithsburg in 4 sets earlier this season.
If you'd like to be featured on the Coach's Corner with Andy, email coach at 921thegoat.com.
It's the perfect blend of modern living and timeless elegance. DRB Homes Loft at Creekside in the heart of Winchester. DRB Homes' premier uptown 2-floor plan offers spaces thoughtfully designed for your lifestyle, along with options including a 4th-floor loft and terrace. Your premier lifestyle begins with the tranquility and amenities of the lofts at Creekside, just minutes from downtown, surrounded by natural beauty and moments away from shopping and dining. To find your dream home at the lofts at Creekside, visit drbhomes.com.
Keep things simple. If you need a vehicle, the best deal in the Tri-State is at McCoy Auto Sales, and it's easy. No pressure, no parade of managers. Just quality vehicles at prices you can afford. Stop by their lot on Lincoln Way West to see new options arriving every week. Pick out the vehicle you like, get your trade-in value and the final price. Drive home happy, stress-free. See why McCoy Auto Sales was voted best used dealer in the Tri-State. 2859 Lincoln Way West, Chambersburg, and online at McCoyAutoSales.com.
Due to continued growth, Chambersburg Waste Paper is hiring full-time CDL Class A flatbed drivers and Class B roll-off drivers. Drivers are home every night. Chambersburg Waste Paper offers full medical benefits, productivity and safety bonuses, paid time off, and matching 401k. Email your resume to recycle at cwprecycle.com or apply in person at 2047 Loop Road, Chambersburg. CWP, an equal opportunity employer. Drive for the dream.
Real quick, raise your hand if you want to lose an additional 4 bands a year. Go ahead and put your hands up. Put your hands up. You voted for Kamala Harris. Oh, okay. My fault. Good, because I don't think people understand that voting for Trump means you will lose an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. If Trump is elected, he plans to add a 60% tariff on all imports from China. Anything in your house that says made in China, take the price that you paid for and add 60%. He plans to add a 20% tariff on all imports coming from every other country. With Kamala Harris's opportunity economy, she's not hitting you with the sales tax of doom. She's providing tax cuts to the middle and working class, so that means you will save an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. Plus the $25,000 she's literally handing to new homebuyers. Like, you know who to vote for in this November's election. It's Kamala Harris. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Tri-State, powered by Home Right Windows and Doors in Waynesboro, the right choice, winner in the 2024 Best of the Tri-State Awards.
Our last guest today, we have speaker and coach Laura Ara. Am I saying that correctly?
You got it.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Let's start by covering what is your area of expertise?
So I am a keynote speaker and a coach, and I help people to own what they actually want and shift the mind junk to go get it.
Okay.
So we're talking about making gutsy moves. That's my whole jam, is about helping people to really get out of their own way. That's what it's boiling down to. So, you know, people have goals and aspirations and things that they want to do, and then guess what happens?
Excuse.
Your brain kicks in.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I'm too young. I'm too old. I need more experience. I need to do this. And you talk yourself out of the thing that you want to do before you even get started. So that's where I interject and come in and help you overcome that stuff.
Why do we have that self-defeat, that fatalist attitude? Is it just the fear of change and failure?
I mean, it's a lot of things, right? Change. I mean, I've not yet met a single person that's like, You know what I love?
I love when things are different.
I love when things are unpredictable. That's my absolute favorite. So, the fear of change. Honestly, one of the big ones is how is what I want to do going to impact the people in my life? That's a huge one, probably one of the top 3. Fear of failure, fear of success, societal standards, expectations in their life and in their current circumstances and roles and responsibilities. So it's all external, right? We're not born beating ourselves up. That's learned behavior. That's things that we absorb in our life. So, it comes from every different direction.
It's amazing what I have found since I had my daughter back in 2020, and that so many, to your point, so many of these traits that we have later in life, they're learned. We train ourselves into those traits. My daughter is probably the most positive person you'll ever meet. She has no fear of anything. She can do anything. And I know people say that all those kids are fearless, or they'll run and jump off this or do these. But it's because they don't have those mental inhibitions that we get into. And it's, childlike faith almost. At the way they view the world, the way they view themselves. It's a very good point. And you don't see a lot of that until you become a parent every day. Wow, that's legit. We learn this.
We absolutely do. And the cool thing about that is we can unlearn it.
Right.
It's a process.
It takes a lot of effort and time, sure.
It does.
Still shouldn't go jumping off the top of the house.
I don't recommend that. Right. Yeah, 0 out of 10. But these are things that we can unlearn. If we have absorbed them, we can release them. And it doesn't mean it happens overnight. It doesn't mean that it's the easiest thing in the world. And honestly, it's why a lot of people avoid making change, is because it's like work on top of work. Changing yourself requires time, effort, consistency. And on top of your other roles and responsibilities, it feels like one more thing. But I always say, do you want the same or better? Right? If you're uncomfortable in something, if there's a change that you're wanting to make, if there's an aspiration that you keep thinking about, a goal that you're one day, we can keep talking about those things, or we can start to make the moves to actually start to achieve those.
I think too, to your point, is we settle for disappointment. My life is disappointing, but at least it's my disappointment.
Yeah.
I know how to mitigate the disappointment in my life. I've lived with it for so long. It's like a whatever you want to say, whatever condition you've learned to live with. I used to get gout a lot, and Katie can attest to this. It's amazing what you can get used to.
Yeah.
It's the worst pain in the world, but you know what? If I can just walk this way, I can do it. It's kind of the same thing with the mental attitude.
We tolerate things.
We do. Yes, we do.
We tolerate and we settle. And for what? To avoid change, to avoid a temporary discomfort. So with your gout, for instance, great story. You can either accept that and live with that perpetual discomfort, or you can get temporarily uncomfortable, meaning changing your diet, changing your routines, changing things about your lifestyle that ultimately frees you. And that temporary discomfort is what we avoid, but we're willing to accept the continuous discomfort of not having the thing that we actually want. And we got to be really clear about what that is in the first place. Do you want to be healthier, right? Is that a core desire of yours? You have to want something and be really clear about what that is to take the steps towards it.
So then when you take on new clients, what are some different areas in which you support them?
Yeah, so clarity, hands down clarity. If we don't know what we want, or at least a direction and where we're headed in, you're going to continue to do a bunch of things and feel unfulfilled. So you can check off your list all day long. You can hustle all day long. You can be busy and get nowhere, right? At least not from a fulfillment standpoint. So we have to get really clear and really honest around what it is that you want in the first place. Are you willing to be vulnerable enough with yourself to admit what that actually is? It's a big step for a lot of people, and it's a big question. What do you actually want?
Right.
It's literally the top question that stumps people when I ask them. They're like, I have no idea. No one's ever asked me that before. I've never had the time to sit and really think about that. So getting clear on what you want is hands down the very first thing. The second is we gotta deal with what's going on up here, right? The mental banter, I call it the mind junk, right? The things that are happening up there. These are the voices. It's the loudest voice that you'll ever hear. And your mind impacts your body impacts your mind. And so it's kind of this vicious cycle.
How is this different from therapy? Or is it just therapy in a different sense?
So it's not therapy, right? I don't claim to be a doctor by any means, and I think that there's an absolute necessary place for mental health care and therapy and other modalities like that. And also to have an accountability coach, partner, somebody that's with you in the day-to-day and on a regular basis.
Not just once a month or once a week.
Right, exactly. So a lot of the times the people that I'm working with are doing both, right? A lot of times with the mental health aspect, we're taking it from a medical standpoint, and I'm taking it from, a day-to-day standpoint.
Sure.
So there's just, they work really well together.
Yeah. Do you do one-on-one coaching, or is it more like group coaching? Or
Both.
do you do both?
Both.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I do one-on-one coaching for people that want to like really get nitty-gritty. Sometimes people don't want to be vulnerable in front of other people, and that's okay. But sometimes people crave that community and being a part of something bigger. So I have a community called the Gutsy Collective, where it's a group of women. We come together. I'm teaching them things on a weekly basis. We have live Q&As together. So it's like you're getting that support mentally, you're getting that clarity, and then you also have the accountability of the group to keep things going.
And tell us, Laura, a little bit about your background. What was your big gutsy move that you made?
Which one? Well, my background is actually in branding. I owned a branding agency for 16 and a half years. My very first, I think my big gutsy move was I quit my full-time job when I was 6.5 months pregnant.
Ooh.
Wow.
At the Yellow Pages, designing Yellow Page ads.
Oh my goodness.
To start my branding agency. So that was like my first introduction to what gutsy moves really are. I ran that agency for 16 and a half years, and my most recent gutsy move is I sold that agency to pursue being a full-time keynote speaker and coach. So that's just been 10 months ago, December of 2023, and it's great. I get to work with people every single day and watch people come alive again.
Sure.
Like that spark. You're not just mundane, doing the thing, trying to get through the day, working to get to the end of the day, the end of the week type of situation. It's like, no, these people are alive again. They have hope again. They're excited again. They're reignited by what's possible instead of committed to all the reasons why they can't.
When you take on, let's say, a one-on-one, I've always been curious about this because I think I would be a really great candidate to be coached. I really do. I've always thought that. But when you take on someone and you're coaching them, do they set the terms for how often they meet with you, or is it a day-to-day thing, a daily check-in? How does that work?
It depends on the goals and the circumstances, but I find that most of the time we need about at least 3 to 6 months together, depending, again, what we're working on and what we're working towards. Because we can achieve a lot in a single session, right? Like my whole thing is I go pretty deep pretty quickly. We get to the root of things
Let's get there
get clarity.
and
Yeah, you don't need fluffy stuff like you came here for a reason, you want some clarity, let's move. So we can absolutely achieve a lot in a short period of time, but that sustained effort, that's where like continuing takes gutsy moves too, right? Is when you're in the thick of it, when things get challenging, when life is happening around you. So 3 to 6 months kind of seems to be the sweet spot.
And then how would someone get started? Is there like a trial or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend checking out my podcast. It's called the Gutsy Podcast. And it's a good way to like start to prime your brain, right? Especially if this is new work for you or you're really trying to, focus on yourself for the first time, maybe ever.
Right.
That's a good way to like get some planted seeds in there. But I also do free consults to kind of test the waters to see if we're a good fit.
I feel like you're doing a free consult today,
Well,
especially with Katie.
Like I said, I've always felt like I would really benefit from coaching. I've always felt that way. For me personally, I've always suffered from super high anxiety and very negative self-talk and a fatalist, like the term that Tiny used earlier. Everything is the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of work. I go to therapy, and so I do work with my therapist about the self-talk. But it is a lot of work to be aware of your thinking. That metacognition, like being aware of your thinking, is it's so much work, and you have to really either have someone that's holding you accountable or do something to hold yourself accountable, journal something, check-ins, set your alarms on your phone. And it just can be so much sometimes that I can see why you just kind of start sliding back into old ways and old thought processes.
Yeah, it's a groove in your brain, right? Like I look at it as your brain is like a dirt road. This dirt road has been there for 100 years. The truck has gone down it a million different times, so much that there are actual grooves in the dirt. That's what's happening in your brain. And so when you go to try to turn the truck out of that road, you're met with resistance, right? It wants to pull back. It wants to go back into what it's known. And that's what's happening in your mind. When you go to make a change, you're going against what you know, even if it's not the thing that you want. So it's that consistency, that action towards what you actually want. Eventually you create new grooves and you don't have to work on it so hard.
Right.
But when you're in the thick of it, having somebody next to you, with you, to hold you accountable, to help coach you through those things. Like you talked earlier about what's the difference between therapy and coaching. Like it's more of an active approach, right? Like it's like we're in the trenches together,
Mhm.
right? We're doing things. Whereas therapy, we're often going back, we're reliving things, we're reworking things, we're seeing things for what they were and how they're showing up in our world. So that active coaching, something you brought up was so important. You want to be coached.
Mhm.
And that's a huge part of this is like, you have to want that change. Like we were talking about earlier, you have to be clear. Like, I know that I could do this on my own, but I know that I could be even more successful if I wasn't alone.
And I think it's easy to go to, like, say, a therapist, and they give you the tools, wonderful tools to use. When you go back home, journal this every night. But if you don't have somebody that's checking in with you and you don't go back to therapy for another month or, a couple weeks, and then how's it going? Oh, I did it one time and I forgot about it. It's
Right.
different when someone's giving you that daily check-in of, hey, let's talk about how your day was. What are you doing to work towards your goal? And I think coaching is probably extremely beneficial for everybody. And so you said do you only coach women?
No.
Okay.
No. My primary focus is women, but I coach everybody.
And it sounds like with the coaching you go from comparing it to therapy. Therapy would be the how could you have handled it, whereas coaching is the how can you handle it.
Yeah,
how are you going
almost
to handle
in
it?
real time.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to.
Let's bring it up to the present as compared to hindsight, which is fine. Like Katie said, you get these tools based on what you did. Okay, well now you could have handled this way, and then you hope to apply that in the future. But when you're in an event is when a coach would be the best to help you. Like when you take a football game, for instance, when the quarterback is struggling, when they come off the field, they're talking to the coach
about
in that
what's happening
moment.
right now. Yes.
Okay, now go do this.
Yes.
Which is perfect for how you are. So I love the comparison you gave between. I think a lot of people when they hear of life coach, they kind of process it with therapy, and I love that you did you delineated between the two and gave example. I mean that was. Thank you for doing that because it couldn't have been said better.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they both serve such a valuable place. It's just knowing what do you need in which case, and if you're not sure, test it out. You can dabble, you can put one foot in. If you're not really sure, even talking to somebody outside of your own head can give you the clarity on even taking that step, right? Like that clarity piece is so essential, and sometimes it's micro moments. Sometimes it's little decisions that make a big impact.
You may have already answered this, but if somebody were thinking about, hey, Laura sounds great and I'm really interested, can someone meet with you for like a free consultation and just see if it's a route that they want to pursue or not?
Absolutely. I offer something called a clarity session.
Oh.
It's 30 minutes together. We get to chit chat, get to know each other. You have to be the right fit for me as much as I have to be the right fit for you. And if we're jiving and things are looking good, then we can decide on what that looks like moving forward.
And how would someone get started with that? Your website?
Yep,
phone
my
number?
website, lauraora.com.
Okay. And where are you located?
I'm in Greencastle.
You're right in Greencastle.
I'm right here.
How many clients do you currently have?
They're scattered all over the place. That's the great thing about the web.
And you offer online classes too,
I do.
right?
Yep.
Workshops online?
Yep, my community's online, so that's all virtual. So that offers a lot of opportunity all around the world.
In the last couple minutes, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Katie.
No, you're
With
fine.
the last couple minutes we have, Laura, could you, without obviously divulging personal information, could you take us through a scenario that you've had with the client where it's been this way for so long and you were able to help them and now they are flourishing? I'm sure you have those examples, but just one that might stick out to you.
Yeah, so the one that's coming up for me, she's an entrepreneur and she was struggling financially. So she's doing what she loves to do, right? She found the clarity on that, but what we found was that she was undercharging because there was an underlying feeling of lack of self-worth. I'm not good enough to charge this amount. Who's going to pay me, right? All this kind of stuff that's rolling through. So we worked through where did that come from? What was the root of that? Who planted this in your mind? And then recognizing it when she's going to sell her services and her, put her promotions out there and stuff. And within a couple of weeks, honestly, she raised her prices. She 4x'd her income within a matter of 6 months. And now she's financially stable and thriving. So it's just the mind stuff.
Yeah.
Right? It's just this perception of I can't, someone else won't, right? Like all these things.
Even being aware. Just be aware of yourself.
Just being aware of it. That literally is the first thing that I teach is like we have to have awareness. If we don't have awareness, we can't make any change. And it's these changes can actually happen a lot faster and a lot easier than what your brain wants you to think.
You just said with that example, a couple weeks.
Couple weeks she started making movements.
Yeah,
she
great.
started to adjust her pricing. She started to embody the person that she knows that she truly is and what her potential is. She upped her prices, and guess what? People came.
Well,
right? The clients didn't go away. In fact, she attracted more.
And you said about, when we talked about awareness, is you almost look at any type of addiction. They say the first step is recognizing you have a problem. Well, same with this. Once you recognize that you have an issue and you're willing to make the moves to fix it, I think that's the biggest challenge that you probably have. And it's like, okay, I realize this person, they know they have an issue, they're acknowledging it, here's what we need to do to fix it. Obviously, at that point, they are willing to do this. They've reached out to you. That's a big first step to reach out.
It's a huge first step because you want it, right? Like you want to be coached, right? You want to make this change. A lot of times people just don't know how or where to start.
Or they just think my girlfriends will take care of it.
Yeah, exactly.
They only get you so
far.
far.
Or in Katie's case, Tiny will take care of it.
You only get me so far.
Yeah, so we start making these little shifts, and all it takes is one or two like little movements, and people start lighting up. They're like, oh, it's possible, right? The hardest part is the beginning, the change, the initial thing. But once you start going and you have people around you that support you, that energy of feeling good and succeeding is contagious.
Yeah. Well, Laura, thank you so much for sharing all that with us today.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you back, and I definitely will be scheduling a clarity session,
Excellent.
if that's okay.
Please do.
We're going to take another look at news and sports, and it's all powered by Veritas Men's Health in Hagerstown. They have telehealth available, and you can find them online at veritasmenshealth.com.
Space is important, and so is not being a hoarder. At On Point Storage in Chambersburg and Fayetteville, they have all the space you'll ever need, from a cubby to a whole lot. On Point Storage has climate-controlled units, the ultimate space to keep your things safe. And right now, save half off the first full month's rent at their Chambersburg and Fayetteville units. On Point Storage, state-of-the-art storage with 24-hour access and video surveillance. Declutter your home with a climate-controlled unit at On Point Storage, Chambersburg and Fayetteville. Full details at onpointstoragepa.com.
Real quick, raise your hand if you want to lose an additional 4 bands a year. Go ahead and put your hands up. Put your hands up. You voted for Kamala Harris. Oh, okay. My fault. Good, because I don't think people understand that voting for Trump means you will lose an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. If Trump is elected, he plans to add a 60% tariff on all imports from China. Anything in your house that says made in China, take the price that you paid for and add 60%. He plans to add a 20% tariff on all imports coming from every other country. With Kamala Harris's opportunity economy, she's not hitting you with the sales tax of doom. She's providing tax cuts to the middle and working class, so that means you will save an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. Plus the $25,000 she's literally handing to new homebuyers. Like, you know who to vote for in this November's election. It's Kamala Harris. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
For this.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Hello.